Alarm pulling Congressman Jamal Bowman. President Biden's FBI is worried that a Hamas-style terror attack could be coming to America. Director Christopher Wray out with a new warning on lone wolf copycats.
In this heightened environment, there's no question we're seeing an increase in reported threats, and we've got to be on the lookout, especially for lone actors who may take inspiration from recent events to commit violence of their own.
President Biden also saying that he's concerned about the increased terror threat. So naturally, the squad thinks this is a good time to open the door for 1 million Gazans to enter the country. Fire alarm pulling Congressman Jamal Bowman says America should welcome Palestinian refugees, as long as they're carefully screened for connections to Hamas. 2024 candidate Ron DeSantis says not so fast.
We cannot accept people from Gaza into this country as refugees. If you look at how they behave, not all of them are Hamas, but they are all anti-Semitic. None of them believe in Israel's right to exist.
So nobody else in the entire world wants any of these refugees.
Now to those growing terror threats on the U.S. homeland. FBI Director Christopher Wray was on Capitol Hill today, warning that the risk of a terrorist attack on the U.S. has risen, quote, to a whole other level, not seen since the emergence of ISIS. CBS's Scott MacFarlane reports tonight from Capitol Hill.
A sober warning from the director of the FBI that the war between Israel and Hamas could lead to attacks in the U.S.
Our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives.
Director Christopher Wray said domestic terrorists could target Jewish or Muslim communities, and he specifically mentioned the arrest of a man in Houston earlier this month
Who'd been studying how to build bombs and posted online about his support for killing Jews.
He was referring to Sohaib Abouyash. In court records obtained by CBS News, prosecutors allege the 20-year-old Jordanian living in Texas, seen here at a firing range, trained with weapons to possibly commit an attack, and talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth, but we should be vigilant.
The FBI is also probing anti-Semitic threats against students at Cornell University. And today, New York's governor announced a person of interest in custody.
Every single New Yorker has a right to feel safe and to be safe.
Meanwhile, in Nevada, a judge has scheduled a November 13th hearing in the case of John Anthony Miller, charged with making violent, vulgar, anti-Semitic threats toward Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen, showing up outside her Las Vegas office.
Look at the protests around the world. Jews are feeling under attack.
The FBI director also said Al-Qaeda and ISIS have called for attacks on the U.S., but said at this time they're not tracking any imminent, credible threats. Nora?
Scott.
He was referring to Sohaib Abouyash. In court records obtained by CBS News, prosecutors allege the 20-year-old Jordanian living in Texas, seen here at a firing range, trained with weapons to possibly commit an attack, and talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quadar of GMS Gulf Coast, and I'd like to start by giving infinite honor and praise to the Most High and His Son Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Radash. Double honors are given up to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 plus years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. To the hopefully elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the bishop elders, the heads of camps of Great Great Millstone by and large. Akim, not named Great Millstone, but walking one body, one spirit in Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching 100% truth. The hopeful elect, the 1/3 scattered throughout the four winds of planet Earth, north, south, and east and west, consisting of men, women, and children in that order. To you all, shalom. And it's going to be real quick, to the point, Lord willing, to be edifying. All this sounds so familiar, especially with that last point that the FBI director made. We shouldn't let any of this divert us from our daily lives, school, this, that, and the third. And it brought up us, through the spirit, something that President Bush said during his time in office. And I pulled this up. I don't want you to check this out real quick. How 9/11 convinced Americans to buy and buy. And real quick, it says, in the wake of the September, make sure I'm going, okay. In the wake of September the 11th, 2001, terrorist attacks, fashion designer Steve Madden was caught in a relatively minor scandal involving actor Dennis Lorry, firefighters, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, let's get to the point where the most patriotic thing we can do, he told the New York Times at the Times, is make money. Is make money. Now, anyway, I want to jump down to what President Bush actually had to say real quick. And it reads, it says, in an address to the nation on the evening of 9/11 attacks, President George W. Bush reassured the public that our financial institutions remain strong and the American economy was still open for business. He would go on to tell people to get down to Disney World in Florida to help shore up the country's hurting airlines. Take your families and enjoy life the way we want it to be, and the way we want it to be enjoyed, he said. Vice President Dick Cheney called for the public to stick their thumbs in the eye of the terrorists by not letting what happened in any way throw off their normal, that's the point right there, throw off their normal level of activity.
CBS News prosecutors allege the 20-year-old Jordanian living in Texas, seen here at a firing range, trained with weapons to possibly commit an attack and talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth.
And talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth.
And talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth.
Again, it reads, in an address to the nation on the evening of 9/11 attacks, President George W. Bush reassured the public that our financial institutions remain strong and the American economy was still open for business. He would go on to tell the people to get down to Disney World in Florida to help shore up the country's hurting airlines. Take your families and enjoy life the way we want it to be enjoyed, he said. Vice President Dick Cheney called for the public to stick their thumbs in the eye of the terrorists by not letting what had happened in any way throw off their normal level of activity. Hey, the Lord is not going to forgive America for the sins that she has perpetrated around the world and what she has done to his people. It's just not going to go down like this. It's just not. It says Yahweh's judgment is Amos 9 and starting at the top, and it reads, Yahweh's judgment unavoidable. Yahweh's judgment is unavoidable. Matter of fact, yeah, let me go back to Amos real quick. Amos 9. Let's see. This is Amos 9 and verse 8, straight to the point, and it reads, Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. So, you know, this place has been in the bullseyes across the of the Lord's takeout plans for a while, you know, And the Lord has been slow. He's been slow. It's slowly letting it build up, you know. Been letting it build up the anger that he has against this place. This is Nahum 1. And I'm going to start at 2, and it reads, Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord Yahweh revengeth. The Lord Yahweh revengeth, and is furious. The Lord Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. That's the point right here, verse 3. The Lord Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord had in his way, the Lord Yahweh had his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. So even though, you know, it's been a long time coming, it's been coming. Lord willing, it was edified. And I want to close out by saying this right here. All this sounds familiar. It sounds eerily familiar. Real quick, I want to make another little valid point. What happened to all of those so-called illegals coming across the border? Now, all of a sudden, it's this heightened response of violence since what's going on over there in the Middle East and our homeland has sparked up. Now, this right on time urgency that there may be attacks here in the U.S. You have to ask yourself, how did these so-called insurgents get into the U.S. with all those open borders? Wink, wink. Anyway, Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to close out by giving infinite honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the Apostle, Elders, Great Millstone, Shalom.